Hi Cancer, welcome to your annual 2023-24 Astrology Horoscope forecast. I'm Anisha, welcome to my channel. I talk everything around astrology and tarot. We are opening the year with two retrogrades. We have Mars and Mercury, they're both retrograde. Mars is retrograde in your house of behind the scenes. It's the house of spirituality, of service, and Mars, being a warrior planet, is not too happy being over here. So you could experience some amount of restlessness as the year opens out. But thankfully, this is just for the next couple of weeks. And even though there is a slow start to the year, it's a time of self-love. It's a time of introspection for a lot of you. Mercury is also retrograde, and that is retrograde in your house of marriage. This is the house of your partnership. And it can be that you could be reflecting on your journey with your partner, both business as well as your personal. On March 8th, we have Saturn that is changing signs. It is resonating with Neptune, which is there in Pisces, and it moves to your house of long distance travel. It is a house of spirituality, and this is also the house where we go and expand our mind, where we come in across with cultures, where it's a wonderful time to be learning. So Saturn is going to be here for the next 2.5 to 3 years, and the period of your life, this specific one, is usually dedicated to self-improvement. You would find that you are developing your ideas, your commitments as a transiting Saturn makes its way through this specific house of yours. And you could also find that your ideas and your spiritual goals that you may have taken for granted till now, or you may have worked for many years, they may suddenly feel quite superficial to you, and they may not feel particularly useful to you as well. If for those of you, you have been studying, you will find that this is a period of questioning exactly what is it that you are working towards, or what is it that you are working for, and does the specific line of study, does it suit you? Is it true to your own self? Does it match your own inner passions, your own desires? And for some of you, you may find that, you start maybe studying an absolutely new subject, and you would find that you are unconsciously, you have been preparing yourself for the Saturn transit as well. But for a lot of you, it can be that, you could find yourself in a very self-defeating kind of a attitude as well, So try not to get quite consumed. If you've not been doing well in studies, try and see it's never too late to be, changing your subjects, even if it means you have to maybe repeat a year, but at the cost of really your entire future, which is there ahead. Try and see as to what is it that you can work best with. This is your house of spirituality and expansion of the mind. It's a very fiery house, and it has a lot to do with your personal outlook as well, your sense of adventure, your confidence, and it is also associated with your hope, with our vision, and also what it is, that you're looking forward in life for. And although the attachments to the specific house has attachments to travel, it has to long distance travel, it does mean that the Saturn transiting over here is going to be impacting those as well. So it could be that you could be in a place where you need to reassess your confidence. Maybe you need to be re-looking at your attitude as to how it is that you relate with people, or even how it is that you look at your life or in general as far as other people are concerned, and how it is that you're dealing with. At the beginning of the transit, you could be feeling a little serious, and the blind faith or optimism may have carried you so far till date, and that is something that could come up for inspection as well. You could be asking yourself questions. What is it that I stand for? What is the kind of future that I'm working for, and why? And also the spirit that drives us and motivates us to move out and beyond the everyday grind, that would come up for inspection as well. By end of the Saturn transit, you will have find that you have reworked your spirit. You've come to face with what it is that offers you hope, What is it that offers you optimism, and what is it that gives you that fuel to drive? The initial entrance of Saturn in this specific house, it is going to make you question yourself. But by the end of the transit, if you have worked really hard at self-improvement, Cancerians, then you would have replaced your old spirit with a new regenerated one. And also, you could be quite closer to knowing as to what is it or where is it that you're really headed, and you would have built your rebuilt your faith in yourself. It can be that time some of you could be feeling little shaky, or you could be feeling little vague about your future, and you could be also avoiding taking risks, and you could generally be little fearful. But hopefully after the Saturnian, this 3-year transit, you would have developed a mature attitude towards adventure, and somewhat a healthy attitude towards taking risk in moderation as well. And it's a time for you, the transit, to be letting go of your fears, Cancerian. There are a lot of unfounded fears. I think some of you could do very well with therapy, so please don't shy away from it, and try and recognize where it is that you have been overdoing your expectations, and find new ways to nurture your hope, your vision, and your faith. On March the 23rd, we have the most awaited planetary aspect of the decade, which is Pluto. And Pluto is going to be changing signs, and he's been in your house of marriage and partnership for the last 20 years. And now it's going to be moving to your house of joint finances, resources. So Pluto is going to be briefly getting up and having a look at your house of joint financing and seeing as to exactly what's going on. It will retrograde back again in June, and then finally it will move ahead into this house of joint finances, resources, sexuality, and intimacy for the next 20 years. Now, Pluto transit in this specific house, and this is also called your partner's house. This is your house which speaks about a place where really you deal with your own power struggles and how it is that you share things. And it also speaks about complete transformation. And Pluto quite loves being in this house, but it is really going to make you work hard. It speaks about death and regeneration of the ego. And while the outdated aspects of your life, they disappear to give rise to the new ones, which can only arise in this way. And so there is not literal death that Pluto signifies. It really speaks about letting go and changing and reinventing and being really flexible. And it can, such a death of maybe ideas or of an ego, it can radically change your circumstances, or it can force you to confront the nature and meaning of your own life. On another level, it could affect your joint possessions and resources. So try not to get in debt, because you could find yourself under the control of another person. Latent also powers of, if it has to do with the occult sciences, that is something that can be stimulated during this time as well. If Pluto is making a difficult aspect to other planets in your chart, it can be that it does at times cause accidents, and it can be that your life could be disrupted by natural disasters. It can be earthquakes or tsunamis, anything which is under the earth, because Pluto governs the underworld. And they can also be either it's political, economic, or even military, beyond your personal control. Situations can arise, but this again entirely depends as to how it is that your own planets are aspecting to Pluto. On April the 20th, we have a solar eclipse that is set in your house of career. This is the house which speaks about your accolades, your achievements, and it is resonating with Jupiter. It's a beautiful aspect because Jupiter is the god of sky. We are speaking about expansion. Solar eclipse means we're going to be starting something new. So it can be that for some of you, you're starting a new job. For some of you, it could be a passion project. It could also be a time that for some of you, you're being recognized for your work, that you're being acknowledged, or maybe you're getting a promotion. In certain cases, because Jupiter is there, it's asking you rather, it is encouraging you to network more with people. In some cases, it can be that you could feel the brunt of the work. It could be, that you're feeling quite overwhelmed with the amount of work that you have on your plate. On May 5th, we have a lunar eclipse, which is there in your house of communications. This is the house of siblings, and it also speaks about your immediate community. So it's a time where you will find that certain negotiations, if you have been speaking with somebody, or if you've been trying to close a deal, or if you've been trying to maybe negotiate something, that comes to an end during this time. It also speaks about, because it speaks about a sibling as well, that if you have been having a difficult time with a sibling, that there could be some maybe harsh words or maybe some arguments that get erupted during this time. On May the 17th, we have Jupiter that is resonating with Uranus in your house of friendships. This is also the house with people with whom you consider your tribe. And again, extremely fortunate, because Jupiter again is going to be, along with Uranus, which is a wild boy of astrology, it's going to be encouraging you to expand your network of friends. It's going to encourage you to meet with people with all walks of life. A lot of you could be quite fascinated by maybe people who are quite eccentric or who are very unusual or rather very different than you. You could be quite drawn to them as well. On June the 12th, we have Pluto that moves back into your house of joint finances, resources, transformation. And this is where Pluto is going to be there for the next 20 years. I will be doing a separate video on how Pluto is deeply going to be affecting all the signs. I am on the same hand also doing a small series of how Pluto, or what Pluto is all about, and it's there on my Insta feed as well. It's under the same handle, Tarot by Anisha. The content is very different from what it is over here. So should you like to know more about Pluto, you can go to my Insta feed and you can check that over there as well. On October 28th, we have a lunar eclipse that is there in your house of groups of friends. And again, some amount of weeding out can be expected. It can be that you are now doing like a pro and a con, a checklist that is there with your friends. You're seeing whether who stays, who goes. The interesting thing this year is that we have all the retrogrades, all the Mercury retrogrades this year are in the sign. Which means that this is also a year of implementation. This is a year of taking action, being pragmatic. It's not a year to be debating. It's not a year to be thinking or ideating a lot. Sorry, I forgot one. On October 14th, we have a solar eclipse, which is there in your house of home. So for some of you, you could be shifting homes. You could be looking at maybe buying, renting, leasing. You could be looking at just moving out of your house as well. Some of you could be making space for your parents to come and stay with you. So a lot of potential that is there this year. Yes, with Pluto and with Saturn, things do look wherein that you need to be really rolling up your sleeves and working. And in my experience, the best way to work with eclipses is to work along with them. Try not to resist the energy. Try and see as to which area of your chart is whether it is Pluto or it is Saturn that it is aspecting. And that is the area where we need to be growing a lot. That is what is being asked of us. So rather than resist and saying, no, I'm not going to be doing this, try and take cues from the house and see, okay, this is how it is that I can make the best out of it. End of the day, of course, astrology is a mere compass. We are eventually accountable absolutely for our own lives, but it's good to have a guiding tool as well. I do hope that you have a fabulous 2023. I look forward to seeing you soon, and thank you so much for watching.